Welcome to an introduction to andragogy. My name is Summer Richardson, and this is for course number 505, Teaching Technology and Learning Theory. The learning objectives include a quick history of andragogy, defining andragogy, Malcolm Knowles' 6 assumptions of andragogy, a comparison between andragogy and pedagogy, self-directed learning and the 4 key stages, and a summary of what we've learned. Alexander Kapp was a German educator and the very first person to introduce the concept of andragogy in 1883. He used it to describe Plato's education theory. He focused on the necessity for adult learning and what qualities are important to develop. Malcolm Knowles was an American educator. He is known as the father of andragogy. In 1968, he wrote an article entitled Adult Leadership, and it transformed the landscape of adult learning. According to Malcolm Knowles, andragogy is the art and science of adult learning. In Greek, andragogy means man leading. Pedagogy means child leading. Malcolm Knowles has identified 6 assumptions of andragogy that are still relevant today in the study of adult learners. The first assumption is readiness to learn. The adult learner asks questions like, why is knowing this information important and how will it be beneficial to me? The second assumption is self-concept or self-directed. The adult learner takes responsibility for their learning process and direction. The third assumption is the learner's experience. Adult learners' past experiences and knowledge should be valued, creating a mutual respect among peers and facilitator, creating an atmosphere where this is a transference of knowledge, ideas, concepts, and skills. These experiences help to create our self-identity, which includes our habits and biases. So it is important that the adult facilitator develops opportunities to implement reflective learning activities where our biases, habits, and assumptions are tested for validity and the experience can become transformative for everyone. The fourth assumption is readiness to learn. Adult learners' readiness to learn is directly related to their need to learn. The adult is ready to learn the new technology, skill, or concept because it directly relates to their current life task or problem and their future goals. Fifth is orientation to learning. How can I apply this concept or skill or idea to the task or problem right before me? I call this the application phase. The learner needs to be able to apply the knowledge they've gained to a practical or real life situation. The last and 6th assumption is motivation to learn, which includes things like job promotions, raises, incentives, and a sense of accomplishment and a self-esteem booster. Andragogy is self-directed learning, whereas pedagogy is teacher-driven. The need to know stage for children is all about the transmission of technique from teacher to student. Self-concept and pedagogy, the learner is dependent on the teacher. The teacher determines learning content, skills, and goals. The teacher also determines when, how, and if learning has occurred. Learners' experience in pedagogy is based upon the teacher's experience, textbook readings, and the writers. The student's identity does not matter. Student's identity is from external sources, such as his or her parents, the school you attend, and the neighborhood that you live in. Readiness to learn for children is determined by age as he or she moves forward in the curriculum. Orientation to learn is subject-centered, acquisition of content, and organized in terms of curriculum. Motivation to learn are from external pressures such as teachers, parents, competition for grades, and fear of failure. The big takeaways for andragogy are, it's all about self-directed learning. Past experiences and resources are important. Learning relates to social roles and responsibilities. Apply lessons and concepts, ideas to solve real-life problems. And motivation to learn is internal rather than external. The last concept we will discuss is self-directed learning. Self-directed learning is a key component in adult learning. Self-directed learning involves being primarily responsible for planning, initiating, conducting any increase in knowledge, skill, content, and performance for personal gain through any medium. Self-directed learning has numerous labels such as self-instruction, self-education, independent study, self-teaching, and learning independently. Knowles describes self-directed learning as a process in which individuals take the initiative without the help of others in diagnosing their learning needs, formulating goals, identifying human and material resources, and evaluating learning outcomes. There are 4 key stages to self-directed learning. Stage 1 is self-monitoring stage. I identify this as the self-inventory check stage, evaluating your readiness to learn. You must take the time out to evaluate your current position in life, family, and job status. Ask the questions such as, what does your support network look like? Are you open to constructive feedback? What are your organizational skills? Are you self-disciplined? Do you need coaching? Do you possess good communication skills? Stage 2 is self-management. You must set learning goals, control one's behavior, think independently, solve problems, and make decisions. Setting learning goals are important for 2 reasons. It holds you accountable or responsible, and it solidifies the partnership between you and your advising instructor or facilitator if needed or required. Stage 3 is self-motivation. You must engage in the learning process. And this stage first starts with knowing and understanding yourself. The adult learner must answer questions such as, what are my needs? Who was my favorite instructor? What was so different about their class compared to others? Is my approach to studying deeper, surface, or a strategic approach? The 4th stage is self-modification. Evaluating your learning process, self-reflection, and evaluations are mandatory. You can seek feedback from and speak with the advising instructor if needed, then adjust and change learning behaviors. In conclusion, we discussed a quick history of andragogy, defined andragogy, evaluated Malcolm Knowles' 6 assumptions of andragogy, conducted a comparison between andragogy and pedagogy, and we looked at self-directed learning, the 4 key stages as it relates to andragogy. When one decides to embark on a journey of self-improvement as an adult, it can be extremely challenging for you, your family, and your sphere of influence. But if you focus on the things we discussed, creating a support network, setting learning goals, and partner with facilitators, monitoring and evaluating how you're doing, there is nothing on earth that can stop you from being a lifelong learner. Best of luck. Thank you for your time.